After declaring martial law earlier this week and insisting it was not taking over, Thailand's military has announced it's, well, taking over. Flanked by other military commanders, Thailand's Army Chief General Prayut Chan-o-cha appeared in a national broadcast to announce the coup and suspension of the country's constitution after the military failed to broker a deal between the two major rival political factions. A curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. was imposed immediately after the announcement was made, and according to the BBC, gatherings of more than 5 people have been banned. And Digital Spy reports all television and radio stations have been told to halt normal broadcasts and instead only show army material. Both CNN and BBC World have been taken off the air completely. A BBC reporter in Bangkok writes that the red shirts, protesters who were in favor of the government, are expected to rally after being cleared out by the military, but are extremely concerned about the possibility of confrontation. But what does the successful coup, Thailand's 12th since 1932, mean for the country? Speaking to CNN a day before the coup, a political science professor warned, if the army can play a mediating role in search of a compromise, we can find a way out of this crisis. But if it does not, then we can see a lot more crises in Thailand. Bessel writes that it's unlikely the coup will prompt any changes in the near future, and is instead more likely to cause confrontations between opposition forces and the military over the imposed curfew. And The Economist points out that the coup might frighten international financial markets, cutting off much-needed funds as the economy starts to enter a recession. 28 people have been killed and 700 injured since Thailand's power struggle began late last year. For Newsy, I'm Jasmine Bailey.
Hi there, I'm Darin Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
I heard absolutely nothing about the coup in Thailand on mainstream. I got 2 headlines and that was about it.
Yeah, well, we did cover the story a couple of weeks ago about them using the Hunger Games salute.
Yes.
To signify resistance.
Yeah. And that was kind of crazy. They were arresting people for saluting in a specific way. That is part of the conscious revolution and what fascists around the world do not want to occur. You are tuned into Video Radio, where we talk about activism winning, fascism losing, and the way the whole world is waking up to a better way.
Now, I don't know if you remember last month there was a little story about Boko Haram kidnapping a bunch of Nigerian girls.
Yes.
And the First Lady took it upon herself to launch a Twitter campaign about that horrendous act.
Yes. And boy, did that work out well for her.
There was a bit of a backlash from people talking about the Drone King's response to terrorism.
The Drone King. We gotta get a cool graphic for that one. Check this out.
The kidnapping of more than 200 schoolgirls in Nigeria has shocked the world. The girls were kidnapped by an extremist group called Boko Haram. Many celebrities took to social media to call for their release. When Michelle Obama posted her photo with the hashtag #BringBackOurGirls, it went viral. But not just because of its well-meaning message. The First Lady's hashtag has backfired. Twitter users either doctored the image or held their own signs, posting pictures on various topics, including the Obama administration's drone strikes. One man posted with a sign saying, "Your husband has killed more Muslim girls than Boko Haram ever could." Hashtag, "We can't bring back our dead." There were many other variations on the theme, with one other man tweeting, "Shame, Michelle Obama isn't also rightly outraged when her husband kills girls with his drones." People have also used the piece of paper she was holding to write jokes, not always appropriately. But then, that's the nature of social media. You come up with one message, it backfires with another.
And there are so many tragic pictures of Obama's wife right now. It's really... Okay.
That was a real social media backlash to her brilliant idea.
Yeah, I know. So much for all of those kids that they kill in drone strikes. It's sort of like the Israeli thing. 3 teenagers killed in Israel. That is a tragic story.
But then they bombed Gaza.
And then they bombed Gaza, killed countless children and families, and of course that was, justified retaliatory strike.
That's really... Of course,
I got that really good too.
That was
awesome. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Now it seems that with all the strife and chaos that's going on in the Middle East, you'd think the U.S. would back off on some of their policy issues. However, it seems that Mr. Obama decided to come out and throw more support at the Syrian rebels who are fighting Assad in Syria, that are also fighting against the U.S. installed regime in Iraq.
So we're going to say thumbs up for the warmongers, and check this out.
We're not going to be able to be everywhere all the time. But what we can do is to make sure that we are consistently helping to finance, train, advise military forces with partner countries.
President Obama asked the Congress on Thursday for $500 million to train and arm members of the opposition forces in Syria. The administration said in a report to the Congress that the proposed assistance can help defend the Syrian people, stabilize areas under opposition control, and facilitate the provision of essential services, counter terrorist threats, and promote conditions for negotiated settlement. According to the formal request Obama submitted to the Congress, recipients of the money, opponents of the Syrian government headed by Bashar al-Assad, will be vetted to make sure they are not members of terrorist groups. The administration's budget request includes $1.5 billion for a regional stabilization initiative, in which the Syrian opposition would partner with neighboring countries Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and Iraq.
So you can imagine the amount of cognitive dissonance you have to think that situation makes any sense at all.
Yes, yes. Make sure you provide more weapons and not solutions like food, water, suitable housing. That, of course, would solve problems at far cheaper rate. Sell more weapons. Thank you, Dick Cheney.
Well, it's good for the economy,
Yeah. Hey, right on, man. Okay, so... CIA, yes?
You may remember a couple of years ago that the U.S. decided they needed a regime change in Libya.
Yes, and if you take a look at world politics and the way that the CIA runs, you see that they've been destabilizing governments around the world since they were invented, basically.
However, in Libya, there's now a coup occurring, and of course, the person that's taken charge of the country was trained by a certain three-letter company or organization.
And it wasn't the FBI. Check this out.
The United States, together with the international community, is committed to the Libyan people. You have won your revolution.
3 years after the so-called liberation of Libya, moving towards Libya's coast, a warship carrying some 1,000 Marines and several helicopters ready to evacuate U.S. diplomatic missions on a moment's notice.
That was a step that was taken to be prepared to protect U.S. personnel and facilities in U.S. installations in North Africa.
The country, gravely destabilized, allowed militants to expand exponentially as the nation's military and police forces remained weak.
NATO member states are good at destroying nations, but never good at making good democracies.
However, concern over the chaos has spiked after dissident General Khalifa Haftar launched assaults against the Libyan parliament and Islamic factions.
Some of the worst violence that country has seen since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi.
An Islamic militant group based in Benghazi has accused Washington of backing dissidents and fueling unrest. While Western forces sold their 2011 bombing campaign as a humanitarian mission, some critics say instability was the end goal.
Peaceful, states that work and are reasonably functional are actually not in U.S. interest at this point in time. The main point is to break up the legitimacy of any kind of nation state that can have any kind of claim on its own resources.
Worst of all, the past 3 years have shown very few of the democratic reforms that were promised when Western forces celebrated Libya's liberation. Marina Portnaya, RT.
Okay, so it wasn't NSA, it wasn't FBI.
It was the firm.
Yes, the firm, the group, the corporation, the shop, if anybody was a Stephen King fan.
Yeah.
Now, you remember that?
Yeah.
That was cool, eh? The shop. So, last story, this was an awesome quick segment to put together because we're finally catching up to the world news as it is.
Now, recently there's been a lot of corruption scandals going on in a certain country that borders France.
Yes, yes. A certain very well-educated, deep ingrained culture of change and actual responsible government. However, royalty has been in charge.
And of course, the corruption scandals were so bad that the current monarch decided to abdicate the throne.
And then when you're handing over the throne to the next guy, your son being the case, you want things to go smoothly.
But things didn't go quite as smoothly, but even though Philip did send the throne.
Yes, check this out.
Tens of thousands of people rallied in over 60 cities across Spain after King Juan Carlos announced his plan to abdicate in favour of his son. Demonstrators urged for a referendum on whether the country should keep its monarchy or become a republic. The biggest gathering was in Madrid, where thousands of people crowded into the central square there, and a similar rally took place in Barcelona, the main city of the powerhouse Catalonia region that's been growing increasingly in favour of independence from Spain. During the last years of his reign, King Juan Carlos saw his approval rating drop, though, following a long-running corruption investigation into his daughter and her husband. International affairs analyst Martin McCauley says changing the situation in Spain for the better would be a tough task.
Ah, yes, royalty.
Yes, of course, the people actually want a constitutional republic, but,
You know, it says old world way of doing things. Royalty has your best interests at heart, just like Halliburton and, of course, Monsanto. This has been your World Report. Thanks for hanging out. It's been an awesome summer, getting into summer here. We have some major local news to report.
we do, especially going on with the recent Supreme Court decisions.
And, of course, we've seen some upset within local politics. Provincial politics is lighting up, so we're going to be talking about pipelines here in the future.
A lot.
Apparently, a whole lot. Specials that are coming up on the way. We have Warriors and Thieves. We've got a sneak preview for you on that one. We're also going to be talking about police brutality.
And we'll also be talking about the current crisis going on in another place that America brought democracy to.
I'm Darin Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
You've been tuned into Video Radio. Keep your cameras rolling. And remember, if you're watching this,
you are the resistance.
Hi there, I'm Darin Howard. This is a quick note for you, for everybody who's hanging out right here in the Okanagan and people hanging around on the internet. We need your help. We're launching a new channel right here at Radio Free Canada, and we're going to be doing things in a different way. And we're looking for contributors, people to write editorials, blogs, and to start talking about what major media is not talking about. We also need resources, and we need some technical experts, people to help out with the editing and some of the assembly that's occurred when we're putting together media like this. You could be our person. We need everybody. If you have the ability to surf the net and take some notes, or the ability to add music, acting, drama, all kinds of artwork, if you have any skill whatsoever, chances are we have something for you to do. I want you to contact me, Darin Howard, or of course our beloved partner, Robert Nisbet, who has so much time to get online and to address all of our concerns. I'm saying that because Robert's working so hard. But get a hold of us on our Facebook or YouTube group and tell us, what can you bring here? Maybe it's just a video add-in, maybe it's a chance to go onto Twitter or onto Skype and discuss what your opinion is. It's up to you. You have the skills and the talent and the ability to support us, and we need you. So make sure you check it out. And the brand new format is on the way.
I am not a data point to be bought and sold. I am not a threat. Why are my baby pictures under surveillance? My identity is mine. You don't own it. I'm a citizen who lives in the world and on the web. I need rights. Rights I can understand. I need technology I can trust from people who respect me. I'm grateful for what you've given the world. I'm scared how powerful you've become. Remember to put me first. Balance commercial profit and public benefit. Keep the web free and open. Give me the tools I need to build the future I dream. The internet is our largest shared resource. Let's take care of it. There's never been a better time. Brought to you by Firefox. Powered by the people of Mozilla.